I'm here today with Chris McCrudden. Chris is the owner at Law, which is an unusual name for a law firm, but I'll let Chris tell you all about that.
As we were saying just off camera, I found it bizarre that I was opening a firm in 2023 and thought it'd be really cool to call the firm Law, so simple. But then just guessed that someone would already have that. But after some research and even ringing the regulator themselves, yet no one has it. So now they do, and hopefully I'll put it to good use.
Absolutely. So tell us a bit about the type of customers that you're dealing with and what it is you're doing.
Yeah, so it probably sounds a little bit cheesy, but I mean it. You know, it's authentic when I say I didn't get into law 15 years ago because I wanted to be in the elite of society, you know, have lots of initials after my name. It was just because I like helping people and I like teaching people. And so after spending a long time in corporate, I started this firm with a basis of how can I teach people about the law, take away that perception that it's a difficult, expensive and scary place to be in, and just show them that it's none of those things. And whether that's giving information away or that's giving them hand-holding through the legal process. So the firm is based in that sort of image of let's help first. Yes, if I make some money along the way, of course, that's great. I want to pay my own mortgage. But the starting point is, can we empower people? And it started pretty okay.
And that, I guess, is your differentiating proposition.
Yeah, exactly. So first and foremost, no Latin, no jargon, no ridiculously high bills. It starts with what can I give you by way of information that takes away that fear. And so I do a lot of free consultations. I do a lot of, meeting people either on Zoom or wherever it is. And the first half an hour, whatever it needs to be, is this is what your legal problem is. And these are the ways that you can fix it. And the first solution is always, you can do this yourself. This is how you do this yourself. But the idea being they'll go away and they'll either say, what a great guy I was to help them with that, or they'll go away and say, do you know what, I'd rather you did it for me. But regardless of what they choose, they're in a better position than they will be scanning through Google looking for a solicitor that essentially will start with, in my cynical mind, will start with, yes, we can definitely help you, but these are the charges because traditionally you charge for legal advice.
Right. So how's the start been for you? How have you got off?
Yeah, so if we imagine I've got two parts of the business. The first is little bits of law, which is that first sort of piece, the idea of giving information away. So again, probably sounds slightly cheesy, but your legal issue, I will break it into little bits of law and I will give you as much information and break it down as much as possible so you feel better about it. That's based on the website, the TikToks, the Instagrams, all those things. I think I'm on about 110,000 views in 9-10 weeks. So there's definitely an audience for wanting legal content. So that's going pretty well. I've just got to keep that up. There's no dancing. You don't want to see me dancing or anything like that.
Well done on that, by the way.
Oh, thank you. And then the other part is obviously helping people with their legal problems past that point, help me achieve this legal outcome. And that's going slow and steady. I'm not an egomaniac. I'm not sat here on a pool of 5,000 clients, but the clients that I have got, I think, are getting a service and a delivery of that service that's better than elsewhere. Is hopefully what I'm giving them.
So what does the future look like?
Yeah, so at the moment we do 4 types of law. So there's little bits of law, and that correlates to the types of law that the law firm provides advice in. So that's conveyancing, divorce, wills, and probate. So the idea being in the long term is that any law you'll be able to come to me for advice, and then breaking it into legal help that's further than that. So yeah, the dream would be the simplicity of the name law means that you don't have to think about what your type of law is. You just know that firm caters for it.
Right. Okay. And so what component parts still need to go in to give you that wide portfolio?
So at the moment, like any new business, the challenges are cash flow, growth, all those things. So you can have big dreams, but the idea that I can just do this in a year or 2 years is just silly. So slow and steady. bring people in, make sure that the case numbers remain low while the business is small, because I think if you even create a boom, if you're lucky enough to create a boom, the problem then is maintaining what made you special in the first place. And so I've got an apprentice that starts in September. I'm taking advantage of a government scheme that's started with regards to solicitor apprenticeships. So that will be the first part of sort of growing the caseload. And then when we can get it, maybe a few more experienced pods in, I'll look at phase two. A lot of my experience is personal injury. So disease litigation, deafness, asbestos, personal injury, slips and trips. So that's phase two in my mind. And there's lots of things to talk about with that. So that little bits of law will benefit from that. So the public benefits from the social media channels. And yeah, it's another area of law that I'm pretty decent at. So that's phase two. Don't ask me phase 3 or 4 because I'm sure it'll change day to day. But that's what I've got in my mind. Yeah.
So you've gone through quite a bit of a challenge there personally, and setting everything up and get it going. What have you learned about yourself along the way?
That I'm far more that I'm a far bigger warrior than I thought I was. So in corporate, I was just felt bulletproof. You know, I had a brilliant mentor who owned the firm. The more I progressed, the more responsibility and autonomy he gave me. But looking back now, what made me so confident in being able to come up with ideas and run them by him and get on with it and use that autonomy is that he was there. And so, yes, now the onus is on me to create leads, market leads, run the cases, build the cases, you know, make sure that all the bills and the back payments are paid, but then also provide the special things, because what I've just described to you there is a really conventional law firm, and I don't believe in that way of delivering law. So the biggest thing is the extra bit, which is on top of all the things that would be a challenge in the first instance. So yeah, those things are constantly on my mind. So I enjoy reading about other people that go through that and how they deal with that. And I saw a great quote yesterday, actually, where someone had said, it was a line from a book, which is, I can't see the wood from the trees. I can't see how I get into the future. And the person with them says, well, can you see the first step in front of you? Yes, I can. Right, we'll just do that. Yeah. And I think that's a brilliant little anecdote and piece of advice, and one that I try and motor as much as possible when I have those moments of, how am I going to achieve this? You know, the firm is open, I have clients, there is money coming in, but in order for this to be more powerful and help more people, it needs to be X. Well, actually, all those things are in the future. The first thing is step number one, which is, can I bring one more client in? Can I help one more person? Someone that contacts me on Instagram through the direct messages and they say, can you help me with this? I had a great one last week or the week before where someone said, one of your TikToks is about ensuring that you're in control of your legal matter. Ask questions, you know, and make sure your lawyer works for you because you're paying the bill. I'm not in control of this matter. And it's a piece of, how do I get control? Well, that was brilliant for me because that's exactly why I set up the firm in the first place. But of course, that takes you away from all the other things. So to answer your question, yeah, I definitely need to work on that sort of one step at a time rather than worrying about what's going to happen in the future.
And if you could set the clock back a little bit, hypothetically.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people say, well, I don't want to change anything because it made me the person I am now and the business that we are now. But, you know, for anybody starting up in business themselves, what might you have done differently that they might benefit from hearing?
What a great question. So I think if we talk about that, having someone there like I had when I worked at the defendant solicitor practice was brilliant. Having a brilliant mentor and being around people or a person that will sort of keep pushing you and keep driving you is brilliant. What I would probably say now looking back is, could I have asked even more from him in terms of the things I don't know? So he gave me the confidence to do the things I did know. Should I have asked more questions and took more time to say, right, I'm feeling really good about this? There's another brilliant passage I saw. I'm sure it was Tom Hanks, and he said his favorite phrase is, this too shall pass. So when things are going really well, think this too shall pass. And when things are going badly, think this too shall pass. So while I was really enjoying myself, and I should have been thinking more, I think, if I am going to start a new business, which everyone knew that was my ultimate goal, he knew, my mentor knew that it was my ultimate goal, what should I have been asking so that when I did open it and all the things that were really apparent that I knew, yes, great, they'll help me, but the omissions that I have were more glaring than the things that I actually had obtained from him. So I think just be more inquisitive on yourself in terms of what you don't know. And then that will breed more confidence.
Great advice. Thank you so much, Chris.
My
Really
pleasure.
appreciate all that.
No, thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a pleasure.